Hello and welcome to Prelude Measure 3. If you drink coffee, which you probably don't if you're young, now is a good time for a cup. Because it's gonna get serious. Just kidding, it's not gonna get serious. It's never serious, it's just music. Don't let it get serious. That doesn't mean it's not gonna be challenging. Alright, here we go. We are going to be adding to measure 3 today, but first we're going to play our C major scale, and then we're going to add a new note, because, you know, songs use more notes. So let's start with our C major scale. Remember, sing or hum along. Please try to sing, you know, it's good to get over a little bit of fear of things like that. But anyway, let's do the C major scale. We're in C position. Let's count them in half notes, since that's what we learned yesterday. So 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. All right, that's our C major scale. Now we're going to add our new notes to prepare for measure 3. So the first thing we're going to do is go to our third octave. Maybe we should call these, instead of just 2, let's change it. Let's call it second octave. 3. It's going to become third octave, and that is spelled O-C-T-A-V-E. Do you know how many arms an octopus has? 8! It's called an octopus because it has 8 arms. Octave, oct, like octopus, means that it has 8 notes, and that's what we're playing in each of these scales. So we're going to change 4 to 4th octave. And then 5, I've got the stems in the way. I'm going to go to 5th octave. And I'm just realizing I made a mistake. Oh no! Sometimes your brain just cancels out and you can't do something right. All of the stems here are wrong. The B needs to be going down. The B, C, D, E, F need to go down, and all these ones need to go up. So we need to erase all that stuff that we had before. Oops. We need to go the other ways. I mean, they don't really need to, but what I showed you was wrong. And now that I'm looking at it, it's because we generally want the stems to cross over the lines. So do some major erasing here. And we're going to go back to where it said C. And now I'm going to draw it on the right side going up. D is on the right side going up. E up. F up, G up, A up. B is the one in the middle, so it could go up or down. So let's start drawing up down, and it's on the left. I make a lot of mistakes like that, just absent-minded, silly mistakes. Sorry, happens in real live classes too, not just videos. I can't go remaking everything just because I made a mistake. Okay, that's how it should really look. Sorry. Okay, now, we need to add a new note. So we're going to go down to the third octave. At the end of the octave, I'm going to draw that C again, because we're starting each scale and ending each scale with C's. So there it is again. But actually, this note is the same as another note. I want to show you where it's the same as. Down here, on the bass clef, which we haven't drawn yet, we're going to draw a ledger line above, and then put a note on it. And then we can draw a stem going down, and that is also C4. Just like this one is C4, this is also C4. And maybe I will do it like this. C4. Yeah. Those are both middle C. There are two ways of writing the same note, and the new note we need is going to go right before that, and this is B4. It goes right before C4. Get it? Before? Ah, okay. And that, as you might imagine, just like Guido d'Arezzo, the Italian monk who was the vocal teacher who used hands to signify higher or lower, it's gone lower, and so it's going to create a lower sound. And that is here. That's B4. We're going to need that note because it's the first note of our next measure. But now that we're also using the bass clef, we are going to have to indicate the bass clef. This is also called the F clef. Do you know what a cursive letter F looks like? I'll draw one over here so you can kind of see. Cursive letter F is sometimes drawn like this. Has a little slash inside it. And the bass clef is going to start on, or the F clef is going to start on that second dot. So we're going to start with the dot right there. And it's going to kind of look like the swirl, a simplified swirl, of the F clef. And instead of having the dash through it, because there are all these other lines, the dash kind of goes away if we make it look more like an F. And so what they do is they tell us that this line is called F, a dot in the space above it is G, a dot in the space below it is E. So we have E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then the next line up would be A, and then the next space would be B, and that's what we just learned over there, B4. Got that okay? Alright, so now we should label these so we are learning the names of them all. T-R-E-B-L-E is by the treble clef. And then down here by the F clef is the bass clef, B-A-S-S. And the word clef is C-L-E-F. Treble clef. We should write clef by both of those. So, as long as you have all these components, treble clef, bass clef, the history, where they come from, and then the modern symbol, the simplified symbol. Now we are going to go down to measure 3. We should start by labeling measure 3. Right here. We're going to cut the line in half. Now we're going to draw a treble clef at the beginning of line 3, just like this, dot, up, around, and like the letter G. And now the bass clef, the dot on the second line, curl it around, and then a dot on the top space, and the bottom space, E, F, G, dot, dot, dot. Yeah? Alright. Now, I said that measure 3 was going to start with the note B, like we had up there. And we shall do that. There's our B. With the stem going down to cross over the rest of the lines. And then I have to play it to remember. There we go. B, D, G are going to be the notes that we do right there. So we have B here that we learned before. Then we're going to go up to D, and this is the note that is above the top line of the bass clef, and D is the note that's right below the bottom line of the treble clef. And we have to try to put it just a little to the right, like that. B, D. And then, what do we do? E, D, G. Oh yeah, just like measure 1 had a G, we're going to go write G on that second to the bottom line. G. And then the last two notes are D and F, just like in measure 2, so we don't have to change a thing. D, F, second line, and top line. See all that okay? And we should label them, because we're still learning. B, D, G, D, F, D, F. Alright, got that? And then, as always, the last three notes are the same. So G, D, and F again. G, D, F. And it'll do it twice. So let's draw another B down here in the middle. We should be in about the middle of our measure. D, G, D, F, G, D, and F. And in measure 2, remember, let's play measures 1 and 2 real quick. Get your hands set up in C position and A position for measure 1. Ready, go. Measure 2, we move into an extended position. First extension. Now measure 3, to get to B down here, I have to put my left hand into an extended position. So I leave my thumb on G, and these four fingers are going to move one to the left, just like these four fingers moved one to the right in measure 2. So this is, now we have hand symmetry. Symmetry is when our something is the same on both sides. So I'm on G and A with an extension on both hands. Isn't that beautiful? Now we're going to play B with our pinky, and D with our middle finger, D, and our thumb is still on G. And then this hand played D and F, just like measure 2, and then we're going to do G, D, F. Now also notice that if we do this hand position exactly like this, we're using pinky, middle, and over here I'm using middle, pinky. Like that, and then over here, or with the middle note connecting it on that G, and you will see all sorts of this kind of stuff in Bach. See how I'm using the same fingers? Usually it's the case that if you find the right position, it's a little easier to memorize, and it's easier for your brain to think about because your fingers are doing the same thing, like that. So now let's try measure 3 until it's a little faster. So if your hands are in extended position over here, extended position over here. 1, 2, ready, go. B, D, G, D, F, G, D, F. And then let's play it from the beginning one time together, and then as many times as you need to on your own to get all 3 measures nice and smooth. From the beginning, measure 1. 1, 2, ready, go. Measure 2, and first extension. Measure 3, left hand extends. And then if you play it in a little loop and finish with measure 1, it sounds like a miniature song, like a 4-measure song. Now a little faster, just for fun, if you want to. if you want to, start bending some of the tempos. By bending the tempos, I mean faster and slower sometimes. And I played all the notes in an arpeggiate to end it, and I could end on C, or I could find a lower C to end it, and that would sound pretty nice. And those are some ideas for you to play with measures 1 through 3. Alright, that's enough for today.